Every time when you do anything, some project at school, work, or event you organized, some simply a conversation you've had with someone, it's never good enough, is it? It's just tiny bit just doesn't isn't right, and because of it, everything is bad. And whenever someone praises you or compliments you, you will always say, yes, but this or that wasn't exactly right. This could be better. So basically, every time you are praised, you, in a way, reject it. You feel good, but you can't help yourself. Sound familiar, does it? Hello, I'm Marco. I'm a life coach, and today I wish to talk about not being good enough. I've noticed that many of us had to fight with that feeling or have to fight with it. And it was part of my bag of issues as well. And today I wish to address what it meant, what it represents, that attitude, what it represents in life, how it affected me, and how I came to overcome it. So, in hopes that maybe it will help others with similar issues, so that finally one day we can be enough. So, first, before we go into the meat of it, I'm a freelancer, as I've said, and every every like and subscription would help this channel enormously, so I could bring new helpful videos for those who need it. So now let's get to it. First, not being good enough. It's something we learn as children, right? Everything we do in kindergarten, primary, high school, it's measured, it's weighed, and it's marked. And even the best mark we could get isn't quite perfect. It's never quite 100%. There's always room for improvement, and we are compared to others constantly. It's this constant competition. And in one way, it drives us to become better, to improve, but in other ways, we learn that it's never enough. If it's not the absolute peak of it, it's not good enough. And we learn that as little children, and as we grow older, that pattern, that attitude becomes stronger and stronger. Then fast forward 20 years, and we look into the mirror and see a person who works constantly to the point of exhaustion or burnout, and it's still not good enough. You just work and work, and every time somebody says something nice about you, how you've done well, how you're good at it, or even brilliant, it's just, yes, but this could be better, or that, it's not perfect. And it never is. It's never enough. And you put more and more of yourself, your effort into your work, into your project, into whatever. And in the end, everything else important in your life suffers because of it. In time, you find yourself lonely, drained, your health is giving out, your wife or spouse left you, or your relationship is just in the dumps. Your children barely know you. You have no friends, just a bottle or social media or whatever is your poison. And that next project that has to be perfect. And it's such a tragedy. You put so much of yourself into your work, and yet all you got out of it is unhappiness and loneliness. And exactly this, I've fought with it. Everything I did was not good enough. And everything new or worthwhile I wanted to do or start, I wasn't good enough. I barely gathered the courage to do it. Even the first video I made, it was such a massive battle. It took me months to gather the courage for it. And it was awful. And it almost killed me. Well, I'm dramatizing, but it almost killed my drive to do it. And slowly I overcame that attitude about good enough. I wasn't a severe case, luckily. I realized first, why am I doing whatever I do? Why am I doing that specific project in which I was not good enough? And it got me thinking about many things, and especially about my motivation. Is it just that I must acquire perfection? Why? Is it because of my ego? Because I can't accept anything but perfection? Or because my ego is so low, I have to build it up with some achievements, then people praise me for it. I'm being humble, fake humble. What do I want out of it? Why am I working so hard? So I realized that everything I do is for my loved ones, for my family. So if I dedicate myself to a project, to something I do, to the point where I exclude my family out of my life, I'm doing it wrong. Then, and the project, whatever I'm doing, loses all meaning because of it. Or any other thing, but always be aware of your motivation and add importance to whatever we do based off it. The other thing is, I learned to accept honest praise. I mean, I was always that, oh, it's not, I could be better, this isn't good enough, that isn't good enough. I was putting myself down when people praised me because in my heart, I could not accept their words because I did not see myself as worthy. But then I realized another thing. If I see myself as unworthy of that praise, and yet those people, most especially my loved ones, were praising me honestly. They did not simply flatter me because they had nothing to gain by it, and flattery is rather humiliating both for the one who flatters and for the one who accepts it. But I acted as if it were empty flattery, and thereby I realized I was putting them down, the people who were most important to me. I was denigrating them. It was not done consciously, but I was doing it nevertheless. And every time I rejected or their compliments or made them less than they were, I was basically insulting them. I was wordlessly calling them liars or blind. And I never wanted to do that. So if I wanted to treat them as they deserved, I had to accept that praise and thereby own it. That was extremely difficult for me, but it was an important step I wish for all of us, all of you who watch this, to take. And then if it's comes to the point, for me it was when I came to the point that I had to ask myself, everything I do, I put so much effort in it. And then I put even more effort to change my attitude towards others, towards myself, to overcome that not good enough. And was it worth it? You see, every change we have or we want to do upon ourselves, it is from some viewpoints necessary, but often it's just more effort than we're willing to give. It's so much easier to invest in others, or to invest in something material, to invest in something so nebulous as our self-growth, our self-development. And as someone who has managed to overcome that, it was so liberating. I could do a project or a job, and it was sufficient. I did not have to drive myself to the point of exhaustion, to the point of burnout. I just did what had to be done. I put in the effort necessary, and I was free. I went home, and I did not think about my work, or I stopped working, doing the project, and I stopped thinking about it. That was the end. I was there. I was with my family, and I enjoyed it immensely. And I was present in that moment, enjoying the beauty around me, the wonderful conversation, the warmth that a good family gives, or loved ones or friends. Doesn't matter. We simply enjoy the movie without having that thing constantly knocking in the background. To be free of it, to be capable of living in the moment, it's an enormous blessing. It's the only way to truly enjoy the beauty and the good that surrounds us. Without it, everything is ugly and the world is terrible. Take it from someone who knows, been there. And with this, I conclude my video. I hope you liked it. So once again, a like would be very appreciated. For any comments, any questions, please write them below. I will answer them. And for any topics you want me to address as well. And if you want my personal help, personal coaching, please write in the comments below. I will contact you. And good luck and full success on your path to self-improvement.